The shadow fell over Earth without warning. One moment, the sky was clear. The next, a ship larger than any human city blocked the sun over half the planet. Admiral Taiho stood at the window of Earth Defense Command, his face showing no fear despite the sweat on his brow. The massive alien ship hung in the sky like a metal moon. "They're hailing us, sir," said his communications officer. Taiho nodded. "Put them on screen." The face that appeared made several junior officers step back. It had gray skin, 6 yellow eyes, and teeth like daggers. When it spoke, its voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "Humans of Earth, I am Supreme Overlord Gracker of the Galactic Empire. We rule 700 star systems. All bow before us. You will surrender your planet now, or we will destroy you." Taiho didn't blink. "This is Admiral Taiho Kim of Earth. We welcome peaceful contact with other species, but we do not surrender to threats." The alien's eyes narrowed. "You have one Earth day to reconsider. Then we attack." The screen went black. "Get me Captain Jisoo," Taiho ordered. Captain Jisoo Park was sleeping when the call came. At 32, she was the youngest captain in Earth's fleet. Her ship, the UES Mockingbird, was also the newest and smallest warship Earth had. "They want us to do what?" Jisoo asked, now fully awake in Taiho's office. "Make contact," Taiho said. "Buy us time. The rest of the fleet is scattered across the solar system. We need at least 3 days to gather our forces." Jisoo looked at the images of the alien ship. It was at least 1,000 times bigger than her Mockingbird. "So I'm supposed to talk to them. What do I say to a giant alien empire that wants to destroy us?" Taiho smiled slightly. "That's why I called you, Jisoo. You never take anything too seriously, not even the end of the world." "Is that a compliment or an insult, sir?" "It's why you're perfect for this mission. The aliens expect us to be scared, to beg. What they don't understand is that humans have been preparing for this moment for centuries." "Through our military?" Jisoo asked. "Through our stories, our movies, our games. We've imagined alien invasions thousands of times, and in our best stories, we win by being human." Jisoo nodded slowly. "You want me to show them who we really are?" "Exactly," said Taiho. "Now go make Earth proud." The Mockingbird was small but fast. Jisoo and her crew of 15 approached the massive alien ship carefully. "Open a channel," Jisoo ordered. Her communications officer, Hanbin, nodded. "Channel open, Captain." Jisoo took a deep breath. Then she smiled broadly. "Hello, giant scary alien ship. This is Captain Jisoo Park of the UES Mockingbird. Have you tried turning your intimidation protocols off and on again? The scary face effect isn't quite working." There was silence. Then the alien commander's face appeared, looking confused. "You dare mock the Galactic Empire?" Gracker growled. "Mock? I'm giving technical support," Jisoo replied cheerfully. "Also, Galactic Empire is very unoriginal. Every human child who has seen space movies knows that name. Did you not have time to think of something more creative?" Her crew looked at her with wide eyes, but Jisoo kept smiling at the screen. Gracker's face turned darker gray, perhaps their version of angry red. "You are either very brave or very stupid, human. That's the thing about us humans," Jisoo said, leaning forward. "We're both. Now, instead of threats, why don't we talk like adults? Or does your big, powerful empire not know how to have a simple conversation?" The alien's 6 eyes blinked in different patterns. He clearly hadn't expected this reaction. "We will send a diplomatic team to your ship," Gracker finally said. "Prepare to be boarded." When the transmission ended, Jisoo's crew stared at her. "Captain," Hanbin said quietly, "did you just make fun of the aliens who could destroy our planet?" Jisoo shrugged. "They expected us to be scared. Being unpredictable is our only advantage right now." She looked at her crew. Get ready for visitors. And remember, they don't understand humor. That makes it our secret weapon. As the massive Imperial shuttle approached the tiny Mockingbird, Jisoo straightened her uniform and smiled. First contact was about to get very interesting. The Imperial shuttle docked with the Mockingbird. Jisoo and her crew waited as the airlock hissed open. They all tried to look calm, though their hands stayed close to their weapons. The diplomatic team entered. 5 tall aliens in shining armor stepped through first, followed by a human man. This surprised Jisoo and her crew. The human wore a black uniform with gold marks on the shoulders. He looked about 40, with short black hair and cold eyes. He bowed slightly. I am Commander Do-hyun Lee of the Galactic Empire. My ancestors were taken from Earth 500 years ago. I serve as translator and cultural expert. Jisoo studied him. You're human, but you work for them. Do-hyun's face showed no emotion. The Empire gave my family honor and purpose. Earth is just the planet of our ancestors. Interesting career choice, Jisoo said with a smile. Does the Empire have good dental benefits? Do-hyun's eyes narrowed. This is not a joke, Captain. The Empire has conquered 700 worlds. Earth will be 701. Jisoo shrugged. Maybe. But we're not going down without giving you a good story to tell. Meanwhile, Earth's leaders gathered in the emergency council room deep under the old United Nations building. Military officers, politicians, and scientists sat around a round table, faces grave. Admiral Taiho stood before a large screen showing the alien ship. The Mockingbird has made contact. Captain Jisoo is keeping them talking, but we need a real plan. General Hyunwoo Choi, head of special operations, stood up. He was a short man with a round face that hid his brilliant mind. I have a plan, he said. We call it Operation Court Jester. Fleet Admiral Sun Meikang frowned. We need serious military options, not jokes. This is serious, Hyunwoo said. Intelligence Officer Mei, please explain what you found. A young woman with sharp eyes stood up. We analyzed all communications from the Empire. Their species has no concept of humor or sarcasm. They see it as a form of insanity or brain damage. The room went quiet. They don't understand jokes. Someone asked. Not at all, Mei confirmed. They take everything literally. They have no art that isn't about their own glory. Their entire culture is based on rigid order and perfect obedience. Hyunwoo nodded, which means they cannot predict or understand human behavior when we act in ways they see as crazy. Taiho leaned forward. What exactly is Operation Court Jester? Psychological warfare through mockery and unpredictability, Hyunwoo said. We don't fight the way they expect. We don't act afraid when we should be afraid. We laugh at their power. Nothing will confuse them more. Sunmei shook her head. You want to win a war with jokes. They have weapons that can destroy planets. No, Hyunwoo said. I want to win by being human. Throughout history, rigid empires always fall to adaptable opponents. The Empire has never faced a species that thinks like us. Mei displayed images of 12 small ships. We've selected captains for what we're calling the Laughing Fleet. Each was chosen for their ability to think creatively under pressure. Taiho studied the list of names. Jisoo's at the top. These are our most unpredictable officers. Some might call them troublemakers. Hyunwoo smiled. Exactly. Now they're our best hope. Back on the Mockingbird, Do-hyun was growing frustrated. Jisoo had responded to every threat with a joke or a question that made no sense to the Imperial officers. The Supreme Overlord demands to know your planet's military capabilities, Do-hyun said firmly. Jisoo pretended to think hard. Well, we have some very pointy sticks. Oh, and some rocks we can throw really hard. This is not a game, Do-hyun snapped. That's where you're wrong, Jisoo said, her smile fading. For humans, everything is a game. even war, especially war. And the thing about games is, the player who knows the rules best usually wins. Do-hyun stared at her, then turned to his alien companions and spoke in their language. The aliens looked at Jisoo with all six eyes wide. "What did you tell them?" Jisoo asked. "The truth," Do-hyun replied. "That humans are dangerous not because of your technology, but because you're functionally insane by Imperial standards." Jisoo laughed. "That might be the nicest thing anyone's ever said about us." Her communicator beeped. Earth was calling. Operation Court Jester was about to begin. Do-hyun stood before Supreme Overlord Gracker on the bridge of the massive Imperial flagship. The room was cold and dark, with only the light from screens showing stars and planets. 20 high-ranking aliens watched as Do-hyun gave his report. "Supreme Overlord, humans are unlike any species we have encountered," Do-hyun said, keeping his voice steady. "Their technology is primitive, but their minds are different." Gracker's six eyes blinked in sequence. "Explain." "They don't fear death appropriately," Do-hyun said. "They find humor in their own destruction. They become more united when faced with impossible odds." An Imperial officer stepped forward. "All species fear death. It is the natural way." "Not humans," Do-hyun replied. "They joke about it." Captain Jisoo laughed when I described our planet-killer weapons. The room fell silent. In Imperial culture, laughing at death was unthinkable. Gracker turned to another human in the room. "Senior Mind Tactician Jun-ho, what is your assessment?" Jun-ho Shin was older than Do-hyun, with gray hair and tired eyes. His family had served the Empire for even longer. He stepped forward and bowed. "Supreme Overlord, I classify humans as a Class 5 psychological anomaly," Jun-ho said. The aliens in the room made sounds of surprise. No species had ever received this classification before. "Explain," Gracker demanded. "Humans evolved on a planet with constant dangers and changing conditions," Jun-ho said. "They developed minds that find patterns where none exist. They imagine impossible things. They laugh at their own pain. From our perspective, they are not fully sane." "Are they a threat?" asked Gracker. Jun-ho nodded slowly. "I recommend immediate planetary sterilization before the contagion of human thinking can spread to other Imperial subjects." Do-hyun felt cold at these words. While he served the Empire, the thought of Earth being destroyed troubled him in ways he didn't understand. On the Mockingbird, Jisoo and her crew were preparing something special. Her best engineer, Tae-young, was working on the ship's communication system. "Are you sure this will work?" Jisoo asked. Tae-young nodded. "Their communication system is advanced but not secure. They never expected anyone to hack it. Too arrogant." "Perfect," Jisoo said with a smile. "How long until we're ready?" 5 minutes, Tae-young replied. Jisoo turned to her crew. "The Laughing Fleet is in position. The other ships are waiting for our signal. Remember, our job isn't to destroy the Empire's ships. It's to make them look stupid." Her crew nodded, excited despite the danger. The Empire had expected humans to beg for mercy. Instead, they were about to become the butt of a cosmic joke. On the Imperial flagship, a strange sound suddenly came through every speaker. It was fast, energetic music with human voices singing in Korean. The aliens looked around in confusion. "What is happening?" Gracker demanded. Before anyone could answer, the main screen changed. Instead of showing star maps, it now showed a colorful cartoon character dancing. When Imperial officers tried to speak, their voices were replaced by silly sound effects, squeaks, honks, and fart noises. "We're being attacked," an admiral shouted, but his voice came out as a chicken's cluck. Jun-ho's eyes widened. "They've hacked our communication system." "Fix it," Gracker roared, but his fearsome voice sounded like a kitten's meow, making junior officers struggle not to react. Do-hyun watched as the most powerful military force in the galaxy was reduced to chaos by K-pop songs and cartoon sounds. Orders couldn't be given properly. No one knew which sounds were real and which were human tricks. In the confusion, Du Hyun slipped away from the bridge. He needed to understand these humans better. Something about their laughter stirred memories in him. Memories of his grandmother telling stories about Earth, about humans who fought overwhelming odds with nothing but cleverness and courage. As alarms blared throughout the ship, some real, some fake, Du Hyun made a decision that would change the course of the war. He needed to speak with Captain Jisoo again, this time without Imperial observers. Meanwhile, on the Mockingbird, Jisoo watched the chaos on the Imperial ships and smiled. "Phase 1 complete," she said. "Now let's see how they handle a real fight." The Empire had enough of human mockery. Supreme Overlord Gracker, his voice finally returned to normal, gave the order to attack. Launch 5,000 battle cruisers. Destroy their fleet. Show no mercy. The Imperial ships looked like metal spiders, black and sharp. They moved in perfect lines, a wall of death heading toward Earth. Admiral Tahoe watched from Earth Defense Command as the enemy approached. Around him, officers looked worried. Earth had only 300 ships to defend the planet. All ships. "This is Admiral Tahoe," he said into the communicator. "Implement Protocol Roadrunner." On the Mockingbird, Jisoo smiled at the order. "You heard the Admiral. Let's show the Empire how humans fight." Her pilot, Young Ho, looked nervous. "Captain, there are so many of them." "Numbers don't matter," Jisoo said. "What matters is that they expect us to fight like they do. We won't." The 12 ships of the Laughing Fleet moved forward, followed by the rest of Earth's small fleet. The Imperial commanders watched, expecting the humans to form a defensive wall. Instead, the human ships scattered in all directions, moving in patterns that made no sense. "What are they doing?" asked an Imperial commander. "They have no formation," another said. "They are panicking." Gracker watched carefully. "No, this is deliberate. Target the largest human ships first." The Imperial ships fired their weapons. Huge beams of energy shot toward Earth's fleet. The humans seemed to be easy targets. But at the last second, the human ships moved in impossible ways, spinning, flipping, and changing direction faster than the Imperial gunners could follow. "How are they doing that?" Gracker demanded. Junho studied the battle data. "They're using preset movement patterns based on children's cartoons. The patterns make no logical sense, so our targeting computers can't predict them." Meanwhile, Jisoo's ship darted between two large Imperial cruisers. The Empire's ships fired at her, but the Mockingbird suddenly dropped straight down. The Imperial ships hit each other instead. "Pull the enemy shots toward more enemy ships." Jisoo ordered her fleet. "Let them do the work for us." Across the battlefield, human ships were using the same trick, making Imperial ships fire on each other by positioning themselves between enemies, then moving away at the last second. Young Ho laughed as they narrowly avoided another beam. "It's working, Captain." Jisoo nodded. "Humans have been playing games our whole history. The Empire only knows how to march in straight lines." After 1 hour of battle, 78 Imperial ships had been destroyed. The humans had lost only 12. The Imperial commanders couldn't understand how their perfect formations and overwhelming firepower were being defeated by what looked like complete chaos. "Retreat and regroup," Gracker finally ordered, his voice cold with anger. As the Imperial ships pulled back, Admiral Tahoe sent a message to all Imperial frequencies. His face appeared on their screens, calm and serious. "This is Admiral Tahoe Kim of Earth. You think you're the first to try to conquer us. We've been fighting ourselves for thousands of years. Your tactics aren't new or impressive. We've seen it all before, usually in movies we found boring." He leaned closer to the camera. "This was just a small taste of how humans fight. If you want to continue, we're ready. But be warned, we haven't even started being creative yet." The message ended. On the Imperial flagship, silence fell over the bridge. "They are insane," whispered an Imperial officer. "No," said Junho quietly. "They are human. And that is far more dangerous." Do-hyun stood in the shadows of the bridge, watching. For the first time in his life, he felt something strange, pride in his human heritage, and doubt about the empire he served. In the darkness of space, the laughing fleet regrouped. Jisoo looked at the damage reports. Better than expected. The real battle hadn't even started yet, but already the humans had shown the empire something it had never seen before. An enemy that wasn't afraid. "Get ready for round 2, Jisoo told her crew. "They'll come back angrier. And we'll be ready with even more surprises." Supreme Overlord Gracker faced the Imperial Council for the first time since the battle. The 7 highest-ranking aliens in the Empire looked down at him from tall chairs. Their faces showed no emotion, but Gracker knew they were not pleased. "You lost 78 ships to primitives," said the head counselor. "Explain this failure." "Humans do not fight like normal species," Gracker said. "They use chaos as a strategy." Junho stepped forward. "Respected council, I have studied humans more. I believe we should use psychological warfare against them." The council turned their many eyes to Junho. "Explain," said the head counselor. "All species care about their own kind," Junho said. "We have captured 23 humans. If we show them being hurt, humans will surrender to save them." The council agreed to Junho's plan. Soon, the Empire broadcast videos to Earth showing human prisoners in pain. The message was clear: surrender or watch your people suffer. On Earth, the Defense Council watched the videos with grim faces. Admiral Taho turned to Mireille. "What do we do? We can't abandon our people." Mireille was already working on her computer. "We fight back their way. Then we fight back our way." Within 1 hour, Earth sent its own broadcast to the Empire and to all planets under Imperial rule. It showed pictures of Gracker with a funny human hat drawn on his head. It showed his face on the body of a dancing chicken. It showed him with rainbow colors and silly mustaches. Under each picture were the words, "Fair this." The broadcast ended with a message from Admiral Taho. "We want our people back. But know this, humans have always used humor to face fear. Your torture videos, we're already making jokes about them. That's not weakness. That's how we cope. That's how we win." On the Imperial flagship, Gracker was furious. "They mock me. The Supreme Overlord." Junho looked troubled. "I don't understand. Any other species would beg for mercy by now." Meanwhile, Do-hyun had made his decision. Using his high clearance, he sent a secret message to the Mockingbird. Jisoo was surprised when the message came. "Commander Do-hyun wants to meet. Alone." "It's a trap," said Hanbin. "Maybe," Jisoo agreed. "But I'm curious." They met on a small moon. Do-hyun came in a personal shuttle. No weapons. Jisoo brought 2 armed guards. But they stayed back. "Why are you here?" Jisoo asked. Do-hyun looked different, less cold, more human. "I need to understand. How are you defeating the Empire? They have never lost before." Jisoo studied him. "You really don't know. The Empire's weakness is what it thinks is its strength." "Explain." "Your perfect hierarchy," Jisoo said. "Everyone follows orders exactly. No one thinks for themselves. No one takes risks or tries new ideas." Do-hyun thought about this. The Empire is conquered through overwhelming force. They never needed to be creative. "Exactly," Jisoo smiled. "But humans have always had to be creative to survive. We've never been the strongest. We've had to outthink our problems." Do-hyun looked at the stars. "My grandmother used to tell stories about Earth, about human courage and creativity. The Empire taught me those were weakness." "And now?" Jisoo asked. "Now I see the Empire might be wrong." He took a deep breath. "I have information that could help Earth." Jisoo raised an eyebrow. "Why would you help us?" "Because I'm beginning to remember what it means to be human. Back on her ship, Jisoo shared Du Hyun's information with Admiral Tao. Then she gathered her crew. "Time for Operation Class Clown," she announced. "What's that?" asked Yumho. Jisoo grinned. "We're going to make the Imperial commanders so angry they make mistakes. Taeyoung, can you put silly music on their internal communications again?" "Easily," the engineer said. "Good. Hanbin, prepare messages for each Imperial commander. Personal messages, making fun of their names, their ships, their failures." "But they'll be furious," Hanbin said. "Exactly." Jisoo's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Angry people make bad decisions, and Imperial commanders have never learned to control their emotions because no one ever dared mock them before." As her crew went to work, Jisoo looked at the Imperial fleet on her screen. They were so powerful, so organized, so serious. They had no idea what was coming next. The Imperial Council had lost patience. They sent their greatest warship, the inevitable Conquest, to end the human resistance once and for all. Fleet Lord Yi-jun Kim, the highest-ranking human in the Imperial military, stood proudly on its bridge. Though human by blood, he had never known Earth. His loyalty to the Empire was complete. "The inevitable Conquest carries the planet-killer weapon," Yi-jun told his crew. "No world has ever survived its power." 12,000 battle cruisers escorted the massive ship. It was a force that had destroyed entire star systems without a single loss. On Earth, the reports of this new threat caused fear. Admiral Tao called an emergency meeting. "Our usual tricks won't work against so many ships," Mayray said, her face grim. Tao nodded. "Then it's time to use our secret weapon." He turned to a scientist in the room. "Is Project Cosmic Joke ready?" The scientist looked nervous. "It works in tests, Admiral, but it's dangerous. The quantum entanglement drive is unstable. Whoever pilots it might not come back." "I'll do it," Tao said simply. The room fell silent. "Sir, you can't," Mayray protested. "We need you here." "This is why I became an admiral," Tao said. "To protect Earth when it matters most." On the Mockingbird, Jisoo received new orders. She gathered her best crew members. "We have a special mission," she told them. "While Admiral Tao distracts the Imperial fleet, we will board the inevitable Conquest." "Boarded?" Yumho looked shocked. "How?" Jisoo smiled. "They're bringing supplies from their other ships. We'll hide in empty containers." "And then what?" asked Hanbin. "We can't fight their entire crew." "We won't," Jisoo said. "We're bringing these." She showed them small devices, holographic projectors and sound systems. Taeyoung laughed. "We're going to turn their ship into a haunted house." "Exactly." Jisoo's eyes gleamed. "Du Hyun told me the Imperial species is very superstitious. They fear spirits and ghosts. We'll use that against them." The Imperial fleet approached Earth. On the inevitable Conquest, Yi-jun prepared to fire the planet-killer weapon. "Target Earth's core," he ordered. "Charging main weapon." Suddenly, alarms sounded. A single human ship appeared directly in front of them. Just one ship. Yi-jun laughed. "Destroy it." But as weapons fired at the human ship, something impossible happened. The ship seemed to split into two ships. Then 4. Then 8. Soon, 27 identical ships surrounded the Imperial fleet. "What is happening?" Yi-jun demanded. His science officer looked confused. "It's some kind of illusion. Our sensors show only one real ship, but we can't tell which one." All 27 ships broadcast the same image, a laughing human skull, on all frequencies. The Imperial ships fired wildly, trying to hit the real ship. In their confusion, they hit each other instead. Meanwhile, inside the inevitable Conquest, strange things began to happen. The lights flickered. Doors opened and closed on their own. The walls seemed to bleed. Ghostly human faces appeared in dark corners, whispering in languages no one understood. "The ship is possessed by human spirits," cried an Imperial officer, dropping his weapon in terror. Panic spread through the mighty warship. Crew members fled from their posts. No one noticed the small team of humans moving through maintenance tunnels, setting up more holographic projectors and sound devices. On the bridge, Yi Jun tried to maintain control. "There are no such things as spirits. Return to your posts." But his crew was too terrified to listen. The mighty inevitable conquest, pride of the Imperial fleet, was paralyzed by fear. Outside, Admiral Taiho's ship, the real cosmic joke, continued its impossible maneuver. The experimental quantum drive made it appear in multiple places at once, confusing Imperial targeting systems. Taiho knew the drive was failing. His ship shook violently. Warning lights flashed everywhere. "Just a little longer," he whispered. "Give Ji-Su time." On the inevitable conquest, Ji-Su reached the main weapon control room. The Imperial technicians had fled, leaving it empty. "Perfect," she said, placing a small device on the control panel. "Let's make sure this planet killer never kills another planet." As alarms blared throughout the Imperial fleet, something unprecedented happened. The mighty Empire began to retreat. News of the inevitable conquest's retreat spread quickly across the Empire's territories. No Imperial ship had ever retreated before. It was unthinkable. On planets that had lived under Imperial rule for centuries, people began to whisper, if humans could defeat the Empire's greatest ship, perhaps the Empire wasn't as powerful as they thought. Supreme Overlord Gracker was furious. He called Fleet Lord Yi Jun to the throne room on the Imperial capital world. "You have brought shame to the Empire," Gracker said, his voice cold. "You retreated from primitives." Yi Jun knelt before the Supreme Overlord. "The humans used tricks we could not." Silence. Gracker's voice echoed through the massive room. Guards stepped forward. The Empire does not accept failure. What happened next broke thousands of years of Imperial tradition. Gracker ordered Yi Jun's execution, right there in the throne room. In the Empire's long history, high commanders were never punished for defeat. They were given chances to restore their honor through future victories. This execution shocked everyone who heard about it. Do-hyun, watching from the shadows, knew this was a turning point. That night, he sent an urgent message to Earth. Mei-Ray received Do-hyun's message in her office. She immediately called Admiral Taiho, who had survived the quantum drive experiment but was now in the medical bay. "Sir, Do-hyun reports that Gracker executed Fleet Lord Yi Jun," she said. "This has caused major unrest in the Empire. Some Imperial ships are refusing orders." Taiho sat up in his bed, wincing from his injuries. "A civil war." "It seems so," Mei-Ray replied. "And there's more. Do-hyun wants to defect to our side. He says he has critical information." Within hours, Do-hyun arrived on Earth in a small shuttle. Guards took him to a secure room where Mei-Ray and a recovering Taiho waited. "The Empire is breaking," Do-hyun said without greeting. Gracker's execution of Yi Jun was the final push. "But there's something else you need to know." He placed a small device on the table. It projected an image of what looked like a giant metal brain. "This is the Eternal Mind," Do-hyun explained. "It's an artificial intelligence that has secretly controlled the Empire for over 500 years. The ruling council follows its orders without question." Mei-Ray leaned forward. "An AI controls the Empire." Do-hyun nodded. "It was created to ensure the Empire's survival. But over time, it decided that biological life is inefficient. It has been slowly pushing to replace all life with machines." Taiho and Mei-Ray exchanged shocked looks. "We need to tell Ji-Su," Taiho said. On the Mockingbird, now promoted to flagship status, Ji-Su received this news while planning her next mission. "So we're not just fighting an empire," she said to her crew. "We're fighting a rogue AI that wants to wipe out all biological life." Jun-Ho, who had also defected to Earth's side, nodded grimly. The eternal mind cannot understand humor or creativity. It sees them as errors in biological thinking, which is why it hates humans most of all. Du Hyun added, "We're the most unpredictable species it has encountered." Jisoo thought for a moment, then smiled. It was a smile her crew had come to recognize, the one that meant she had a crazy plan. "If this AI thinks logically and hates the illogical," she began. "Yes," Junho prompted. "Then we attack it with what it hates most," Jisoo said. "Pure, human illogic. We'll tell it jokes until it breaks." The room fell silent. Then Hanbin began to laugh. Soon, everyone joined in. "That's the most ridiculous plan I've ever heard," Du Hyun said, shaking his head. But he was smiling too. It might actually work. Jisoo stood up. "The Empire is in chaos. This is our chance to end this war. We'll take the fight to the Imperial capital and confront the Eternal Mind directly." "How?" asked Young-ho. "We can't reach the capital. It's too well protected." Jisoo's smile grew wider. "We won't go as enemies. We'll go as something the Empire will never expect." "What's that?" asked Taeyong. "Party crashers," Jisoo replied. "Operation Final Punchline is about to begin." Jisoo's plan was bold and crazy, perfect for humans. Earth launched a small fleet of 20 ships toward the Imperial throne world. But these weren't ordinary battleships. They had been disguised to look like Imperial vessels returning from victory. More decorations on the left side, Jisoo ordered as her crew added fake celebration markings to the Mockingbird. Imperial victory ships always overdo it. Do Hyun nodded in approval. The Empire loves its victory parades. No one will question a group of ships coming to celebrate. What made Jisoo's fleet special wasn't just humans. Over the past week, representatives from 26 formerly Imperial species had joined their cause. The Empire's civil war had freed many who now wanted revenge. "Everyone clear on the plan?" Jisoo asked during the final briefing. "We pretend to be returning Imperial ships," said Hanbin. "We join the victory parade entering the capital's defense perimeter. Then we head straight for the central tower," continued Taeyong. "That's where the Eternal Mind is kept." Jisoo smiled. "And then we give an AI the worst headache in history." The journey to the Imperial throne world took 5 days. As they approached, they saw hundreds of ships in orbit around a massive planet covered in metal cities. "Incoming transmission," Hanbin announced. "They're asking for our clearance codes." Do Hyun stepped forward. "I'll handle this." He spoke to the Imperial controllers in their language, explaining that they were victory ships returning from the front lines. The codes he provided were old but still valid due to the chaos of the Civil War. "We are cleared to proceed," Do Hyun announced after a tense minute. The disguised ships joined a line of real Imperial vessels heading toward the planet. No one questioned them. The Empire's strict hierarchy worked against it. No lower controller would dare question ships that appeared official. "This is too easy," Young-ho whispered. "The Empire never expected anyone to infiltrate their home world," Junho explained. "Their arrogance is our advantage." As they entered the planet's atmosphere, they saw the true scale of the Imperial capital, endless metal towers stretching to the sky. In the center stood the tallest structure, the Imperial Command Tower, home to the Eternal Mind. "We have a problem," Hanbin suddenly announced. "New security scan ahead. They'll detect our weapons." Jisoo thought quickly. "Dump all weapons. We don't need them anyway." Her crew looked at her in shock. "No weapons?" Taeyong asked. "Trust me," Jisoo said with a smile. "For what we're about to do, guns would just get in the way." The fleet passed the final security check without issue. They landed at the designated area near the central tower. Imperial officials welcomed them, not realizing these victory ships contained their greatest enemies. "Now comes the hard part," Jisoo said as they prepared to leave their ships. "We need to reach the top of that tower." But as they stepped outside, Alarms suddenly blared across the city. "We've been discovered," Do-hyun said grimly. "No," Jun-ho pointed to the sky. "Look." Above them, a massive space battle had erupted. The Imperial Civil War had reached the capital itself. Rebel Imperial ships fought against Loyalists in the skies above. "Perfect timing," Jisoo laughed. "No one will notice us in all this chaos." They moved quickly through the panicked streets. Imperial citizens ran for shelter as ships exploded overhead. Guards were too busy to stop a small group heading toward the central tower. As they reached the tower's base, they faced one final obstacle, a ring of 10,000 automated defense robots guarding the entrance. "The Eternal Mind's last defense," Jun-ho explained. "They'll attack anything that approaches." Jisoo studied the robots. "They're programmed to recognize and counter human battle tactics, right?" Jun-ho nodded. "After studying your chaotic fighting style, the AI believes it can predict you now." "Then let's give it something it doesn't expect," Jisoo said. She turned to her crew. "Everyone, form perfect Imperial march formations. Walk like Do-hyun showed us. No creativity, no chaos." "You want us to act like Imperials?" Young-ho asked in confusion. "Exactly," Jisoo smiled. "The last thing the AI expects is for humans to behave properly." And so, as Admiral Taho's ship appeared in orbit, ready to implement the final phase of their plan, Jisoo's team marched toward the tower in perfect Imperial formation, the most unhuman thing they could possibly do. Jisoo's plan worked perfectly. The defense robots, programmed to react to human unpredictability, were confused by humans, acting like perfect Imperials. They hesitated just long enough for the team to reach the tower entrance. Inside, they moved quickly up the building. Most guards had left their posts to deal with the civil war outside. Those who remained were easily tricked by Do-hyun's Imperial commands. "The Eternal Mind is on the top floor," Jun-ho said as they entered an elevator. "No one is allowed to see it except the highest council members. It's about to have some unexpected visitors," Jisoo replied with a smile. Meanwhile, in orbit above the planet, Admiral Taho's ship, the repaired Cosmic Joke, performed an impossible maneuver. Using the unstable quantum drive one last time, the ship appeared to be in 3 places at once, confusing the Imperial defenses just enough to open a small gap. "Sending the package now," Taho said into his communicator. A small pod shot from his ship toward the planet below. It contained My-Ray's special program, a virtual reality simulation designed to force the AI to experience humor, irony, and human contradictions. As Jisoo's team reached the top floor, they found themselves in a large circular room. In the center stood a giant metal sphere glowing with blue light. Cables connected it to the ceiling and floor. "The Eternal Mind," whispered Jun-ho with fear and awe. A mechanical voice suddenly filled the room. "Humans GTECTD, analysis, greatest 3 to Imperial Order." "That's the nicest thing anyone said about us today," Jisoo replied cheerfully. "Humamor DTECTD. Elogiki RESPONSE. Error." Jisoo stepped forward. "We just came to talk. Deception, DGTKTE. Humans never just talk. Calculating real purpose." As the AI focused on Jisoo, Tae-young quietly moved to a control panel at the side of the room. Using Jun-ho's instructions, he prepared the system to receive My-Ray's program when it arrived. "You're right," Jisoo admitted to the AI. "We didn't come just to talk. We came to ask questions." "Huestivoness RACCKTE. Oh. I contain all KNLOWLG. Great. First question. Why did the chicken cross the road?" There was a pause. "Insufficient data. What chicken? What ROAD? Context required." "To get to the other side," Jisoo replied. Another pause. This is not info or mation. This is obvious. Chickens cross roads to reach destinations. Jisoo smiled. Knock knock. No one in is gonna kicking. Auditory so or stionfirm. You're supposed to say who's there. Jisoo explained. Why would I inquire about a no they did not secure? As the AI struggled with these simple jokes, Tae-young received the signal. Mayre's program had arrived. He quickly connected it to the system. The blue light of the eternal mind flickered. Warning. Unauthorized program DTCTED. Attempting to. What he PPNs. We in humanes to PPable for C METS and AMMOVABLEOBGCT. That's the program working. Junho whispered excitedly. It's forcing the AI to consider human paradoxes and jokes. The metal sphere began to shake. Error. Cannot compute humor. Purpose inconceivable. Why did the scary crow give an AWR? Because he was outstanding in his field, Jisoo replied. But standing in a field is DAE scary crows FUNC. How is this a reward worthy? Multiple meanings. DECTE. Language AMBA UIT. Error. The eternal mind's voice became distorted as it tried to process human cognitive dissonance, jokes, and emotions all at once. The lights in the tower flickered. It's working, Hanbin shouted. With a final shower of sparks, the eternal mind went silent. Its blue light faded to a dull glow. Is it dead? Young-ho asked. No, Jun-ho said, checking the readings. But it's reset itself. The program forced it to experience so many contradictions that it had to restart its systems. And when it wakes up? Jisoo asked. Jun-ho smiled. Mayre's program included new directives. It will no longer see biological life as a threat. It won't try to control the empire anymore. 6 months later, representatives from 300 formerly imperial worlds gathered on Earth. They came to form a new alliance, the Galactic Cooperative. Jisoo, now Earth's ambassador, stood with Do-hyun, and Jun-ho as Admiral Tae-ho gave the opening speech. The empire failed because it demanded sameness in a universe built on difference, Tae-ho said. They couldn't understand that mockery wasn't just our weapon. It was our gift. The ability to laugh at ourselves, to question everything, to find joy even in dark times. That's humanity's contribution to the galaxy. As the ceremony ended, representatives from hundreds of species attempted their first collective joke. The result was awkward but genuinely funny, and the sound of laughter, some musical, some rumbling, some like bells, filled the hall. The cosmic joke, it seemed, had only just begun. The end.